All right. So, Aesop's Fables, right?
Um,
We all kind of know him, but we're going deeper than just the easy morals.
yeah.
We're really going to dig into what Aesop was getting at about, like, us,
Yeah.
about people, human nature, basically.
Right, right. What's interesting about these fables is, I mean, they've been around forever,
Yeah.
and they still kind of work, you know? Like, it's almost like Aesop, like, saw into the future or something
That's
and
true.
figured out all the weird stuff people do, and it's like, still true now.
Yeah, it's like he's holding up this mirror
Yeah.
to how we act, even with, like, the animals and everything.
Exactly, exactly.
So let's jump in. How about the wolf and the lamb? Always gives me the chills a little bit. The lamb just trying to get a drink. The wolf is like, nope, I'm going to eat you, and makes up a whole bunch of reasons why it's okay.
Yeah, it's really about power, isn't
Yeah.
it? Like, the wolf, he doesn't even care if his excuse is good.
No.
He's just saying, look, I'm bigger. I'm going to do what I want.
And it's scary because we see that in the real world, you know?
Right.
People using their power, making up reasons.
All the time. Like, think about,
like huge companies.
yeah, or even, like, way back in history when,
Oh, yeah.
like, Aesop's making us think about it, like, hey, who's got the power here, and are they using it right?
Okay, so power's a big one. How about when power gets you more than you deserve? The lion's share. That's the one.
Oh, yeah, that lion, he's not just strong, he's making all the rules. And everyone else, they just got to deal with it.
That's kind of how it feels sometimes, you know? Like, the system is rigged.
It makes you wonder, right, like, whose rules are we playing by, and are they fair?
Okay, so we got power, but then there's just plain wanting more. The dog in the shadow.
Ooh, that's a good one.
That dog, he's got a bone, right? But he wants the one he sees in the
The
water,
reflection, yeah.
and he loses what he had.
It's like classic Aesop, like a simple story, but it gets you thinking about, how much is enough.
Totally. It's like when you're, I know, looking at everyone else's life on, like, Instagram,
Yeah.
and you forget to, like, enjoy what you've got.
It's that thing where more choices don't actually make you happier,
So true.
Sometimes it's just like wanting and never being happy with what you have.
So what's the answer? How do we not be that dog,
Well, that's what Aesop wants us to think about, right? Like, how do we actually be happy with what we've got?
Okay, so that takes us to the town mouse and the country mouse.
Oh, that's a good one for this.
Right. City life looks exciting, but then...
But then there's the country mouse just chilling, no worries.
Exactly.
And it's not saying one is better. It's just like, what makes you happy, What are you looking for in life?
It really makes you think about what matters to you, not just what everyone else is doing.
Exactly.
Really.
Yeah, and it's not always easy, right?
Right.
Like figuring out what really matters.
No, not at all. Especially when, like, everything looks so shiny and perfect, Like, we all know appearances can be deceiving, but Aesop's The Fox and the Crow, that one really drives it home.
Oh, yeah. The fox, he's such a smooth talker. Just want that cheese.
That cheese. But it's true. People use flattery, and it works.
It's like, especially now, think about all the ads, all those influencers telling you what to buy, what to look like.
Oh, for sure. It's like, who are the foxes in our lives, and what are they trying to get us to do?
It's a good question. Makes you think twice, right? And then there's that donkey trying to be a lion, the ass in the lion skin.
Oh, that's a good one. That donkey's got confidence. I'll give him that.
He does, but it's all fake, isn't it? And it's kind of sad. Like, he wants to be something he's not.
And don't we all do that sometimes? Like, on social media, everyone's trying to look so, I don't know, important.
Right. But then those donkey brays come out eventually.
They do. But, okay, what about when, like, you want something different, something more? The frog's desiring a king. That's what comes to mind.
Oh, those frogs. They had it good, did they? But no, they wanted a king.
And they got one, or a few. First, the log, which was boring, and then...
The stork. Who eats frogs? Let's not forget.
Right. It's like, be careful what you wish for.
It's about thinking you want someone else in charge, thinking that'll solve everything.
Oh.
But freedom, even if it's messy, is better than a tyrant.
Even a stork tyrant.
Right. Even a stork tyrant. But okay, sometimes it's not even about tyrants. It's just like we overthink everything.
Oh, tell me about it.
And that's when I think of the mountains in labor. Remember, all that noise, all that shaking.
And out pops a mouse. It's hilarious, but it's also like a good reality check, right?
For sure. Like, how often do we freak out about stuff that doesn't even matter?
All the time. It's like when you think you failed that test, but then you get an A.
Aesop's telling us to chill out a little, Not every problem is the end of the world.
Easier said than done some days, but true.
Definitely true. But then on those tough days, it's also good to remember Like everyone's going through something.
Yeah, you're not alone.
Exactly. Like the hares and the frogs, those hares, they thought they had it bad.
Until they saw those frogs, right? And it's like, oh, okay, maybe my problems aren't that bad.
It's like everyone's fighting their own battles,
Oh.
And just knowing that, it helps.
It does. It does. Okay. But not everyone's on your side in those battles. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure. Some people, they're only looking out for themselves. The wolf and
Yeah.
the crane. That's the one.
Oh, that wolf gets the crane to help him and then...
Doesn't give a hoot about his promise, does he? It's like those people who are nice to your face, but then...
As soon as they get what they want, you're gone, right?
Exactly. It's tough, but Aesop's showing us what to look out for. You got to be careful who you trust.
For sure, for sure. But, okay, what about when you're the one who messed up? Like, how do you forgive or ask for it?
Ooh, that's a tough one. And the man and the serpent, that doesn't exactly give us warm fuzzies, does it?
No, saves the snake, gets bitten. Talk about ungrateful.
It's like some wounds, they just run deep, don't they? And that snake you can't let go.
Makes you think about grudges, right? Like, when do you forgive? When do you walk away?
Tough questions. But maybe Aesop's saying there's no easy answer. Sometimes you forgive, sometimes you protect yourself.
It's like knowing the difference between a real apology and someone just trying to use you again.
Exactly. Man, Aesop really went there.
He did, he did. We're going to need a break after this. We'll be back in a bit with even more Aesop wisdom. Okay, back again. More Aesop, more wisdom, right?
Yeah, he really packed it in, didn't he? Like that story with the fox and the mask.
The fox and the mask, yeah. Thinking it was a real face. So silly.
Right. But it's like, we do that, don't we? See someone all fancy, think they're amazing, but maybe.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing there. It's like the saying, you can put lipstick on a pig.
It's still a pig. Aesop's telling us, look deeper,
Yeah.
Real worth that comes from inside.
That's true. So how do we tell what's real? The jay and the peacock, that's a funny one.
Oh yeah, the jay, all decked out in feathers that weren't even his, thinking he's hot stuff.
And everyone's like, okay. It's like when you try too hard, just be yourself.
Exactly. Aesop's saying, own it,
Yeah.
Your weirdness, your good stuff, that's what matters.
I like that. So be yourself, but also maybe don't get too big for your britches, right?
Yeah. The frog and the ox, that frog had some serious goals.
Trying to puff himself up. We've all been there, trying to be like someone else, but...
It never works, does it? Aesop's like, hey, it's good to have goals, but be realistic.
Has to be a frog trying to be an ox.
Exactly. Oh, okay. But sometimes being small, it's actually your strength,
Oh, yeah. Androcles and the lion, right. That lion never forgot who helped him.
It's like, be kind, even if it seems small, you never know, right? What goes around comes around.
So true. Okay, but what about when everyone wants you on their side, picking teams? The bat, the birds, and the beasts, that one always gets me.
Oh, that bat. Trying to be friends with everyone, ended up with no one.
It's tough, though. When you see both sides, you don't want to choose.
But sometimes, you got to be true to yourself, even if it's lonely,
Yeah, you gotta do what you think is right. Speaking of which, sometimes you gotta trust your strengths, even when you doubt them.
Oh, like that hart with the skinny legs, the hart and the hunter, right?
He thought they were weak, but they almost saved him.
Like, what we think are our weaknesses, they can surprise us, right? We're stronger than we think.
And sometimes we just gotta laugh at ourselves, The mountains and labor, all that fuss over.
A tiny mouse. It gets me every time. Aesop's like, calm down. That's probably not a big deal.
Good advice. So, Aesop, he gave us all this, and he wasn't even, like, a philosopher or anything.
Right? Just these stories, but they really make you think about yourself, about other people.
It's like he's giving us these tools to figure out how to be better, how to understand the world.
And even if he didn't have all the answers, it's a good place to start, isn't it? Thinking about these things.
It is. Well, that's our deep dive on Aesop's Fables. Thanks for listening, everyone. Until next time, keep those fables in mind. You never know when they might come in handy.